Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1. We heard yesterday that Kans, he was driving the chariot of Devki and Vasudev. They were just married, was driving them. He was so happy. Suddenly there's a omen from the sky that Devki's eighth child is gonna kill him. So then he immediately leaves the reins of the chariot, holds Devki by the hair, takes out his sword, he wants to kill her. And then now we are going to hear what Vasudev speaks to him. We heard that Vasudev, he was still peaceful. He didn't get agitated. And that's his strength, his forte. It's such a stressful situation. His new bride is going to be killed by her brother. And he's very calm. And so let's read on. He was Mahabhaga. He was referred to as Mahabhaga, very greatly fortunate. So Shri Vasudeva Vacha,
श्रीवसुदेव उवाच
Shlaghanya Gunashurer,
श्लाघन्य गुणः सूर्य
Bhavan Bhoja Yashaskaraha,
भवान् भोजा यशस्करः
Sakatham Bhage Nim Hanyat,
स कथं भागनीं हन्यात्
Striyam Udvaha Parvani.
स्त्रियम् उद्वाह पर्वणिः.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Vasudev said, my dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are the pride of your family, the Bhoja dynasty, and great heroes praise your qualities. How could such a qualified person as you kill a woman, your own sister, especially on the occasion of her marriage? According to the Vedic principles, a Brahmana, an old man, a woman, a child, or a cow cannot be killed under any circumstances. So, who are the five who cannot be killed under any circumstance?
One is the Brahmin,
Hmm.
the old person, then the
Old
women,
man. Hmm.
old man, then the women, then the children and the cows.
Yeah, under any circumstance. That's what the Vedic principle is. So Vasudev stressed that Devki was not only a woman, but a member of Kamsa's family. Because she was now married to Vasudev, she was Parastri, another man's wife. And if such a woman were killed, not only would Kamsa be implicated in sinful activities, but his reputation as king of the Bhoja dynasty would be damaged. Thus Vasudev tried in many ways to convince Kams in order to stop him from killing Devki. So he is not only telling him that you're gonna get sinful reaction because a woman should never be killed. But right now you're such a great king. But if you kill her, then your name is gonna be spoiled. Okay. Mrityur Janma Vatam Vira
मृत्युर्जन्मवतां वीर
Dehena Sahajayate
देहेन सह जायते.
Adya Vabda Shatante Va
अध्यवाप्त शतान्ते वा
Mrityur Vai Prani Nam Dhruvaha.
मृत्युर्वे प्राणिनां ध्रुवः.
O great hero, one who takes birth is sure to die, for death is born with the body. One may die today or after hundreds of years, but death is sure for every living entity. So first he's telling him you'll get implicated in sinful reactions, your name will be tarnished, and now he's giving him knowledge also. Vasudev wanted to impress upon Kamsa that although Kamsa feared dying and therefore wanted to kill even a woman, he could not avoid death. Death is sure. Why then should Kamsa do something that would be detrimental to his reputation and that of his family? As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.27, Jatyasya jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, tasmad apariharyerte, na tvam shochitum arhasi. For one who has taken his birth, death is certain. And for one who is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So one who is born is sure to die, and one who is dead is sure to take birth again. So one should not fear death. Rather, one should prepare oneself for the next birth. One should utilize one's time in this human form to end the process of birth and death. It is not that to save oneself from death, one should entangle oneself in sinful activities. This is not good. So Prabhupada is saying one should utilize one's time in this human form to end the process of birth and death. How could one do that?
By devotional service.
Yeah, that's right. By devotional service to prepare ourselves for the next birth. Dehe
What they're
panchat.
trying to, so what he's trying to show him by this is that you should not get entangled in this. Rather, you should, get free from all this.
Well, he's saying you're anyway gonna die. Why you want to
Hmm.
take up sinful activity now? You want to kill your sister.
Hmm.
She just got married. You're not supposed to kill women, and you're gonna get so much sins and death. Well, everyone is anyways gonna die. So why do
Hmm.
you want to kill her? You can see he's trying all his ways, all the ways.
Yeah.
Dehe panchatvam apanne.
देहे पंच देहे पंच त्वम आपन्ने
Dehi karmanugo vashaha.
देहि कर्मानुगो वशः
Dehantaram anuprapya.
देहान्तरम् अनुप्राप्य
Praktanam tyajate vapuhu.
प्राक्तनां त्यजते वपुः.
When the present body turns to dust and is again reduced to five elements earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the proprietor of the body, the living being, automatically receives another body of material elements according to his fruitive activities. When the next body is obtained, he gives up the present body. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, which presents the beginning of spiritual understanding. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara. De tatha dehantar prapti dhiras tatra namuyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Bhagavad Gita 2.13. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita that the soul changes the body. And right now, when we are in the body is also actually continuously changing. When we are born, we have small baby body, then we have, children body, then young person's body. But where is that body gone? But we, the soul, are the same. And the same way, at one time, we will have to completely give up this body and take up another one. A person or an animal is not the material body. Rather, the material body is the covering of the living being. The Bhagavad Gita compares the body to a dress and elaborately explains how one changes dresses one after another. So we are the spirit soul, and this material body that we are covered with is compared to a dress. We keep changing our clothes. So similarly, the soul keeps changing the material body. The same knowledge, same Vedic knowledge is confirmed here. The living being, the soul, is constantly changing bodies one after another. Even in the present life, the body changes from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age. Similarly, when the body is too old to continue, the living being gives up this body and by the laws of nature automatically gets another body according to his fruitive activities, desires, and ambitions. So we are making our own next body by our own karma, by our desires. We are creating a future body for ourselves. The laws of nature control the sequence, and therefore, as long as the living entity is under the control of the external material energy, the process of bodily change takes place automatically according to one's fruitive activities. So, how we have acted, what our desires are, based on that, we are forced to accept another body, whether we like it or not. All that is under the control of the material energy. And she is working under the orders of Krishna. Vasudeva therefore wanted to impress upon Kamsa that if he committed the sinful act of killing a woman, in his next life he would certainly get a material body, still more conditioned to the sufferings of material existence. Thus Vasudeva advised Kamsa not to commit sinful activities. He's saying, you next life you will have to suffer more. You will get a body in which you will have a lot of suffering. One who commits sinful activities because of ignorance, tamogun, obtains a lower body. Karanam guna sangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. Bhagavad Gita 13.22. There are hundreds and thousands of different species of life. Why are there higher and lower bodies? One receives these bodies according to the contaminations of material nature. So 8,400,000 species, right? Then why there are so many species? Depending on the combinations of the modes of nature, the Rajogun, Tamogun, and Sattvagun. If in this life one is contaminated by the mode of ignorance and sinful activities, Dushkriti, in the next life by the laws of nature, one will certainly get a body full of suffering. The laws of nature are not subservient to the whimsical desires of the conditioned soul. Everything, there is a system, there is an order that this entire universe is, or entire material world is working under. Krishna has set the laws. Our endeavor, therefore, should be to associate always with Sattva Gun and not indulge in Rajogun or Tamogun. Rajastamo Bhava, lusty desires and greed, keep the living entity perpetually in ignorance and prevent him from being elevated to the platform of Sattva Gun or Shuddha Sattva Gun. One is advised to be situated in Shuddha Sattva Gun, devotional service, for thus one is immune to the reactions of the three modes of material nature. So Prabhupada is explaining that how we can give up this cycle of birth and death, engage in devotional service, bhakti, come to the transcendental platform, Shuddha Sattva, transcendental goodness. That is beyond the modes, that is liberation. Then one can give up this cycle of birth and death. Till if we continue with ignorance, passion, then our next bodies are going to be bodies with a lot of suffering. So this is the reason this knowledge is given to us to help us stop our suffering. Go back to the spiritual world. You wanted to add anything?
Not really, but just that if we keep sinning with knowing or unknowing, then that will impact our next body, right?
Yeah, that's right. Rajam stishtan padaikena
Vrajam stishtam pradayakena
yathaivaikena gacchati
yathevekena gacchati
yatha trina chalokevam
yatha trina jalakevam
dehi karma gatim gataha.
dehi karma gatim gataha.
Just as a person traveling on the road rests one foot on the ground and then lifts the other, or as a worm on a vegetable transfers itself to one leaf and then gives up the previous one, the conditioned soul takes shelter of another body and then gives up the one he had before. This is the process of the soul's transmigration from one body to another. At the time of death, according to his mental condition, the living being is carried by the subtle body, consisting of mind, intelligence, and ego, to another gross body. So, when how does this transmigration happen? The soul leaves this body, the gross body, but the subtle body is that what carries the soul to another body. The super soul, the subtle body, they are carrying the soul to another body depending on the consciousness, mental condition. So, when higher authorities have decided what kind of gross body the living entity will have, he is forced to enter such a body, and thus he automatically gives up his previous body. Now, we cannot decide what our body is going to be. We don't have a menu. Now that we are dying at that time, we have to fill out a menu. Okay, which planet, which form, which body, which species, which gender, what community, which universe. No, that we don't have a choice in that. That is being arranged by material energy. So, and then once what's decided that we have to go in that body, we give up this one and we are forced into the other one. Dull-minded persons who do not have the intelligence to understand this process of transmigration take for granted that when the gross body is finished, one's life is finished forever. Such persons have no brains with which to understand the process of transmigration. So someone may think that, oh, well, the body dies, the soul is also dead. But no, the soul is eternal, is spiritual. Soul is not material. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, soul is eternal, spiritual, yeah, always exists, has existed in the past, is existing now, and will continue to exist in the future. At the present moment, there is great opposition to the Hare Krishna movement, which is being called a brainwashing movement. But actually, the so-called scientists, philosophers, and other leaders in the Western countries have no brain at all. So the Hare Krishna movement is trying to elevate such foolish persons by enlightening their intelligence so that they will take advantage of the human body. Unfortunately, because of gross ignorance, they regard the Hare Krishna movement as a brainwashing movement. They do not know that without God consciousness, one is forced to continue transmigrating from one body to another. Because of their devilish brains, they will next be forced to accept an abominable life and practically never be able to liberate themselves from the conditional life of material existence. How this transmigration of the soul takes place is very clearly explained in this verse. Prabhupada is saying that some people are accusing the movement, Hare Krishna movement, of brainwashing. But you're just the devotees are just telling us the truth, explaining to us that how the transmigration is happening. That it's not that this body dies, the soul is dead. No, the soul takes up another body based on the karma and desires. The soul already is taking another body before he, as soon as he gives up this body, he's entering another body. Here Vasudeva is saying how this process is happening as somebody is walking. When we walk, one foot we're putting down, another we lift. As soon as we put one foot forward, then we lift the other foot, or the worm which is going from one leaf to another. So the soul, we are taking another body and we are giving up this present body. Is that okay?
So what they're trying to say is that this process is very, very naturally happening, right? Because if we are just taking one foot in front and then the other foot is back, that is naturally we are just walking. So
Yeah,
as soon as we leave the body, then already the next body is there for us.
yes.
And the soul goes with the subtle body, right?
Subtle body, yes. The mind, intelligence, and false ego. Yeah.
And then one more
Swapne.
point. So
Huh.
then they're also telling this that only the Krishna conscious movement.
Only devotional service. Krishna consciousness
Yeah,
movement is one of the movements that is teaching
movement.
us.
So only devotional service can help you get out of it, right?
That's right. Only devotional service can help us
Okay.
stop this. Taking another material body can help us take a spiritual body.
Oh yeah, spiritual one.
स्वप्ने यथा पश्यति देहम् ईदृशम्
स्वप्ने यथा पश्यति देहिमं दिशा
मनोरथेनाभिनिविष्टचेतनः
मनोरथेन अभिनिवेष्टचेतनः
दृष्टाश्रुताभ्यां मनसानुचिन्तयन्
दृष्टाश्रुताभ्यां मनसा अनुचिन्तयन्
प्रपद्यते तत् किमपि हि अपस्मृतिः.
प्रपद्यते तत् किमपि हि अप्रस्मृति.
Having experienced a situation by seeing or hearing about it, one contemplates and speculates about that situation, and thus one surrenders to it, not considering his present body. Similarly, by mental adjustments, one dreams at night of living under different circumstances in different bodies and forgets his actual position. Under the same process, one gives up his present body and accepts another. Tata dehantar prapti. Transmigration of the soul is very clearly explained in this verse. One sometimes forgets his present body and thinks of his childhood body, a body of the past, and of how one was playing, jumping, talking, and so on. When the material body is no longer workable, it becomes dust. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. But when the body again mixes with the five material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the mind continues to work. The mind is the subtle substance in which the body is created, as we actually experience in our dreams, and also when we are awake in contemplation. One must understand that the process of mental speculation develops a new type of body that does not actually exist. if one can understand the nature of the mind, manorathena, and its thinking, feeling, and willing, one can very easily understand how from the mind different types of bodies develop. So here Sudev is saying, when we have heard about something, when we are, or we have experienced something, then we remember that. Our mind is completely focused in that. We forget our present body. Then we are completely focused. Oh, I used to do like this, or I had done this, or I had done that. And we may remember that kind of body. Or in the dream, we take up different bodies in the dream also. We forget what's our real right now, what the body is, and then we are taking up different bodies in the dream. So the same way, the mind is creating the next body for us. We are going to give up this gross body, and what is the situation of the mind? We are creating our next body. We had heard also in Canto 4 the narration of Narad Muni was speaking to King Prachina Barhishan, the story of Puranjan, that he was telling him how by the mind we are creating our different bodies. Right now, what is our thought process? What is our consciousness, thinking, feeling, and willing? If we can understand this, then Prabhupada is saying we can understand how the different bodies are being developed. So because what our desires are and what karma we have done, we are going to get a body next body based on that. So that's how we are creating our own bodies. The Krishna consciousness movement therefore offers a process of transcendental activities wherein the mind is fully absorbed in affairs pertaining to Krishna. The presence of the soul is perceived by consciousness, and one must purify his consciousness from material to spiritual, or in other words, to Krishna consciousness. So, consciousness is a symptom of the soul. Right? The soul is there, that's how we are conscious. So the Krishna consciousness movement is giving us a platform, is providing us a facility of how we can always think of Krishna. And that this is what is needed to change our consciousness from material to spiritual, to Krishna consciousness. That which is spiritual is eternal, and that which is material is temporary. Without Krishna consciousness, one's consciousness is always absorbed in temporary things. So Krishna consciousness, that is eternal. Anything which we are absorbed in Krishna, that is eternal. Anything which is material, whatever we are thinking, doing material, that is all temporary. Without Krishna consciousness, one's consciousness is always absorbed in temporary things. For everyone, therefore, Krishna recommends in Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. One should always be absorbed in thought of Krishna. One should become his devotee. One should always engage in his service and worship him as the supreme great. And one should always offer him obeisances. So this is what Krishna is telling us of how to change our consciousness from material to spiritual. Think about Krishna. Offer service to Krishna. Offer obeisances to Krishna. Worship Krishna. Become Krishna's devotee. And this is how we will be able to change our consciousness. This is how we will always think of Krishna. And then the consciousness will be changed from material to spiritual. Is this purport much longer? How long is it?
It's very long, Shilpaji.
So should we stop here then?
Yeah, you can stop there. Yeah, it's very, very long.
Okay, so So this is what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, and we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Did you want to add anything?
No.
Anyone?
It's, yeah,
No?
so amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all